Charlotte Gainsbourg is the epitome of effortless French chic, a woman who never follows trends yet always looks timelessly stylish, a wardrobe built on understated elegance, perfectly tailored pieces, and a rock and roll edge that only gets better with age. Today, I'm unveiling the key elements that define her signature style, from her love of monochrome to the art of looking perfectly undone. These are the unspoken fashion rules that make her an icon at 54, and once you understand them, you'll never look at French style the same way again. 1. The art of effortless tailoring. Charlotte Gainsbourg has long embodied the understated elegance of French style, a woman who never tries too hard, yet always looks perfectly put together. At 54, her approach to tailoring remains one of her most defining style signatures. She gravitates towards sharp-shouldered blazers, well-cut trousers, and menswear-inspired silhouettes, embracing clean lines and neutral palettes. These are not rigid corporate pieces, but rather fluid and slightly undone, worn open, sleeves casually pushed up or layered over something unexpected. Whether she's stepping out in a slouchy, double-breasted jacket or a pair of wide-leg pants that skim just above the ground, there's a natural ease in her approach. She understands proportion instinctively, mixing structure with softness, pairing a precise cut blazer with relaxed denim or a loose blouse, and keeping everything in a palette that feels timeless. Blacks, navies, greys, and the occasional deep brown or olive. Her love for tailoring isn't about power dressing in the traditional sense. It's about comfort, movement, and authenticity. 2. Mastering monochrome and minimalism. If there's one thing Charlotte Gainsbourg understands profoundly, it's the power of a monochrome outfit. Black is, of course, her favourite, a hue she wears with unwavering confidence, but her way of wearing black isn't stark or severe. It's layered, textured, and always interesting. She plays with subtle contrasts in fabric, a sheer blouse under a structured wool coat, a leather skirt worn with a soft knit, or a silk camisole against the grainy texture of denim. The beauty of her monochrome looks lies in their depth and movement, in the way light catches on different materials, adding intrigue to even the simplest ensembles. Minimalism, in her world, doesn't mean boring. There are details, perhaps a hint of lace, a row of buttons, an interesting cut, but they never overpower. She allows the body to dictate the way clothing moves, never forcing an outfit to feel too contrived. There's restraint in her style, but it's a restraint that feels deeply personal, not prescriptive. 3. The rock and roll edge that never ages. Charlotte Gainsbourg's lineage alone makes her rock and roll royalty, but her style cements her place in that world. She has a way of incorporating leather, denim, and a sense of rebellion into her wardrobe that never feels costume-like or forced. A leather jacket draped over her shoulders, skinny jeans that have moulded to her frame, and slouchy boots that look as though they've travelled through decades of concerts and midnight adventures. These are elements that recur in her wardrobe, but there's a subtle sophistication in the way she wears them. The key is in balance. Nothing ever looks too polished, yet nothing appears careless. Even when she wears distressed denim, it's paired with a classic blazer or a tailored shirt to counteract the rawness. She avoids excess, steering clear of heavy embellishments, instead letting the cuts and materials speak for themselves. This effortless, rock-inspired aesthetic is proof that a little edge doesn't have an expiration date. It evolves, becomes more refined, more intentional, yet still undeniably cool. 4. The art of the perfectly imperfect shirt. Charlotte Gainsbourg has an affinity for shirts that look as though they were borrowed from someone else. A little oversized, slightly wrinkled, and always worn with an air of nonchalance. She chooses fabrics that have life to them, crisp cottons, worn-in silks, or soft chambrays, often in neutral or muted tones. Her shirts are never overly styled. The sleeves are rolled up in a way that feels natural, The top buttons are left undone just enough to suggest ease, and the hem might be half tucked in a way that appears completely unplanned. She never forces symmetry, allowing one side to drape differently from the other, letting gravity decide the way the fabric falls. This relaxed approach to shirts gives them an undeniably sensual quality without being overtly revealing. It's the kind of styling that makes an outfit feel effortless yet infinitely chic, proving that elegance doesn't come from perfection, but from the confidence to embrace a little disorder. 5. Footwear. That's as timeless as it is functional. Shoes, for Charlotte Gainsbourg, are not about chasing trends, but about comfort, longevity, and a certain Parisian insouciance. She leans toward classics: Chelsea boots, worn-in sneakers, block-heeled ankle boots, and understated pumps that seamlessly integrate into her wardrobe. There's nothing fussy or overtly feminine about her footwear choices. They are always practical, always slightly androgynous, and always well made. The key to her shoe selection is that they feel lived in. She prefers boots that show a little scuffing, sneakers that have moulded to her feet, and heels that are never uncomfortably high. Even when she opts for something slightly more delicate, like a strappy sandal, there's an effortless way she wears them, perhaps with a loose pair of jeans or an oversized blazer that removes any sense of trying too hard. Her shoes serve as an anchor to her outfits, grounding them in reality while maintaining their chic appeal. 6. Outerwear as an identity statement. Charlotte Gainsbourg's approach to outerwear is an extension of her personality, confident, understated, and always with a touch of intrigue. Coats are never merely functional. They are part of the outfit, part of the silhouette. She often wears them draped over her shoulders, allowing them to move with her rather than constrict. Her favourites are classic cuts with a twist, long wool coats with a masculine edge, oversized trenches that seem to tell stories, and sleek leather jackets that age beautifully over time. She tends to favour darker shades, but there's an undeniable richness to them, whether it's the depth of a navy pea coat or the luxurious softness of a black cashmere wrap. Each piece looks like it has been carefully chosen, not just for warmth, but for the way it complements her entire aesthetic. Her coats are never accessories. They are defining elements, framing her signature look and adding an air of mystery. 7. The confidence of minimal accessories. One of the most striking aspects of Charlotte Gainsbourg's style is her approach to accessories, or rather her lack thereof. She doesn't rely on heavy jewellery, statement bags, or obvious embellishments. Instead, she lets her clothing and attitude do the talking. When she does wear accessories, they are subtle: a delicate chain, a simple leather belt, a classic watch. Her handbags are practical yet luxurious: soft leather totes, understated crossbody bags, or vintage-inspired clutches that never scream for attention. There is a quiet confidence in her restraint, a belief that elegance comes from simplicity rather than excess. She proves that a woman doesn't need layers of adornment to make an impression. Rather, the way she carries herself, the way she moves through the world, is her greatest accessory. 8. Denim as a second skin. Few people wear denim as effortlessly as Charlotte Gainsbourg. She has an innate ability to make a simple pair of jeans look incredibly chic, whether they are vintage-washed skinnies, perfectly cut straight legs, or high-waisted classics. What sets her denim choices apart is the way they fit. Not overly tight, never overly loose, but just right. She understands that denim should move with you, not against you. She pairs jeans with everything from crisp white shirts to structured blazers, never overcomplicating the look. The result is a casual yet sophisticated aesthetic that never feels outdated. Her denim choices are always well worn but never sloppy, embodying that elusive quality of looking effortlessly cool without trying too hard. 9. The power of owning your style. Perhaps the greatest takeaway from Charlotte Gainsbourg's fashion philosophy is that style isn't about following rules. It's about embracing who you are. She wears what makes her feel comfortable, confident, and entirely herself. She doesn't chase trends, yet she always looks modern. She doesn't overdress, yet she always looks elegant. She proves that true style isn't about what you wear, it's about how you wear it. At 54, she remains a timeless icon of French chic, a testament to the idea that style, much like confidence, only gets better with age.